you know, and so she said she knew of a, she's a doctor, not practicing, but I don't know whose diet, but they don't believe in that much protein. They think that is bad for you. That's whatever works, but I dropped it, and I dropped the first 2 weeks there, and I lost 5 pounds.
Yeah.
You know, so it had to be.
Slinky Bob? I had one of those when I was a little boy. Yeah.
I got a lot of them.
And you feel when you're on right,
Yeah, you do eat the right stuff, and quite honestly, when
I had them too.
they were like,
Yeah, well, we get them at Christmas time. And we let them go down the
third one differently. Holy crap.
upstairs steps, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Coming down the steps.
I'm from, as they say,
The one that was on medication
New York.
Oh, New York.
New York.
New York.
And I lived in a, well, it was a 16-story building. I guess it was 15 because it had no 13th floor. No, they had 12 and a half. That's what it was.
12 and a half.
And,
Did they have steps?
well, other than elevators, yes, so you
they
could run
did?
them down a
You
whole
could run
bunch of
them
steps.
Wow, that's quite.
Oh, thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
Thanks for stopping
That's
by.
like finding a good hill for
Appreciate it.
sledding.
I know.
We're about to watch a
We had one of those
presentation
when
on
I was.
environmentally friendly
We used
toys.
to get.
It's going to start in 10 minutes.
Hey, it was in sled or.
Welcome in, everybody.
A doll or, you know, it's simple stuff, you know. Poughkeepsie. Poughkeepsie, New York. Poughkeepsie, yes. I always say, pick your toes in Poughkeepsie. You can say it, you can name it. God, it's been so long since I've been to Poughkeepsie. I probably wouldn't even recognize. Yeah. If you went away from Quakertown for 20 years and came back, you wouldn't go either.
I won't be doing a whole lot of talking, obviously, because we're here to watch this presentation. He'll be doing the talking. And it's going to start in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's like, when did they build this? Uh-oh. Oh, my phone's in my car. That's all right, nobody will bother me. If anybody does, I say, sorry, I left my phone in my car.
I think that's still get people.
I don't worry about those things. It's just recent, you know, just to save myself a lot in the car. That's the only reason I do it.
Hey, how's it going?
Okay, nice to see you. Thanks for coming.
37 years.
You're welcome. Don't have a whole lot of choice with president.
Oh,
yeah. You do whatever the wife says. How many years have you been married? Oh, that's crazy.
Pager, and two-way radio.
No, no.
Radio.
These people are married like 7 years. And they get divorced. They learn that. You're a smart man.
You're still trying to trade you right though.
Showed up if there was a problem. Yeah.
President.
I used to say, you have more phone numbers than any person I know. I said, you really only need one. I said, yeah, this one. That's our police dispatch center. They can always find you. It's called Central. Yeah, I don't miss that. Yeah, I'll bet. Especially these days.
Because I had very dessert
I'm one of those people, I've been doing this for 10 years. His wife is
Right? Would that be the correct designation of the first man? Like the first lady, the first man. His wife is president.
First man in the story.
oh, look, I have 70 texts. Maybe I should do one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll give you a call.
We texted 3 weeks ago to tell you that. I said, I keep telling you, don't talk to me or send me something. Email me or call me. Okay, well, I understand what you're saying. And I want to talk about it. Okay. If I get up and I can't go to sleep, I'll get on the computer.
I look at that thing, 6:45. Or, you know, once in a while, 11:30 or midnight.
Well, that's what I do.
Now that I'm ready to get up.
It should be like the opposite.
Things are coming off the wall. They've been doing that for 10 years.
Yeah. It'll take a while. Well, I went through different stages.
CPA's house.
You know, I was sleeping through, and they got the then when I finally called up, you know, I was trying to get it down to bed and everything. A couple of times. What happens? And even there, pretty rapidly, and then all of a sudden, I started coasting the railroad again, but you know, now where I'm like, you know, I'm okay.
This year, one of the things was the time change. But it's just now that I've started to get up at the times I used to get up. I was getting up an hour later. Like I usually get up between 7:30 and 8:30, depending upon what time I got to bed. I was getting up between 8:30 and that happened. Now here I am.
People are affected by things like that. I can never believe they are because I don't seem to be affected by it. It's just like everybody that goes somewhere on a plane that comes out of jet lag and all that.
Well, I'll tell you,
It never seemed to bother me much about that, you know, time zones, you know.
my family
Yeah, that's my team.
lives in California. So I would go back and forth quite a bit. I've gone back and forth as much as 6-7 times a year. And if I'm only going for like a day or two, like I have to go for some family, I stay on the time I started. If I'm going to go out there for a week or more, I always change the time. And then when I come back, it's like, oh, I'm going to get up at 3 a.m. Even though it's 6 here.
Yeah. No, my body doesn't really tell me that kind of stuff. I am pretty good at having ability to talk.
Must be up later, so my daughter could watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it'll be there all the time. I'm just working on right now. I've got a problem. See how all tiny the screen is?
Right, yeah.
I kept trying to get it to a
Hey,
full
Don.
screen, but yeah, it'll be there. It'll be there all the
Could
time.
you text me then or email
Yeah.
me? Or,
Well, I can give you mine too.
Okay.
Before I leave, I'll give you my card.
okay, thank you.
Do you know what
I do. I know it. And my husband would
I recognize you, but I can't.
see him. Gary.
Andy. Well, that was terrible.
No, hey, we're all getting to that.
Oh no, you don't change that. But you know, kind of looks like somebody should know.
Yep, no, we're out of our element. I'm not at
Now I
church.
understand why you're asking about that.
Yes, yes.
Who's this person
Well, it's a safe question to ask, right?
Well, yes, I am. Because,
What's she up to?
I came to see
Do you know Bob?
Big Bob. And she handed me this little clipping out of the paper. And she says, but she never said she would be. So I thought you might be. So I called to come in.
She does. Oh,
Great.
What's her name?
She's been for teenagers and she comes to
Oh, maybe I saw her.
well,
Still small. Why is it so small?
We went to a talk last night, and a woman talked about clear candy.
So what are you gonna do? You're gonna video it?
Yeah, I'm videoing. But I'm having trouble with. Look how small it is on the screen. It's not videoing a full screen, and I can't figure out how to change it.
say hi to Gloria.
Look. We video things all the time.
I know. And I had this problem when we were in Disney, and I was able to fix it, but I don't remember what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I thought we'd give it a couple minutes yet. I did want to start on time, but anywhere, sit anywhere you like. Oh no, I'm going to be introducing everything, and then we're going to get started.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good. How's your daughter?
She's doing well too.
Good.
Got her electric back now.
So you were one of the people that was out?
She was,
Oh,
yes.
she was. Okay.
Yeah, yesterday afternoon,
It's, I
the
don't
whole
think
area of Byhurst.
I don't think everybody's back on yet. When I look at the outage map, it looks like there's still some people that are out. Does she have a generator?
No,
Okay.
no. Everything's back for her anyway. So,
They probably have things that are going to go up. But look at this Lindsay dog.
I remember that.
I know.
go ahead and get started.
Uh-huh.
Glad all of you came today. Welcome to our Coopersburg Historical Society. Not actually the whole building, that's not all of us. Borough actually owns this building. And, but we have space that we have a little museum on the first floor here. For those who are not familiar with us and our town, first off, I'm president of the Historical Society. My name is Anna Ellenberger. Our vice president is in back there, Doris, and two of the ladies who are volunteers with us, Pat in the turquoise there used to be our archivist, and she is now a volunteer. She retired from archiving, and Maureen is another one of our volunteers. The borough of Coopersburg began back in the 18th century and was basically a stopping point on the main road from Allentown to Philadelphia. And State Street brought travelers in from the outlying areas. So that's how our town eventually got established. It grew from a small tavern stop on a dirt road and ended up what you see today. Our museum was started to continue that story, and we invite you to visit it after the presentation is over. And you just go through that doorway, past the restrooms, and make a right. And so now I would like to introduce Mr. Bob Swain, and he will give his program and tell you all about his unique
You know, behind every man is a woman. It's my wife Gloria. So she keeps me straight. So a little background on me, I taught math for 30 years, high school math. And so our daughter is a juggler, and I juggle a little bit, but not, if you'd see her juggle, you wouldn't want to see me juggle, because she's so much better than I am. And actually I learned off of her. And so some of these toys I got through juggling. And I also went to the toy show in New York for 20 years, and these are non-electronic toys. At the school where I taught, I was the first computer teacher, so I was trying to push computers. And then, did you ever push something and it gets out of control? Well, that may be true today, that we're so computer-based that we really don't interact with each other as much as maybe we could. So what I'm trying to do now, I like bicycles also, and so I thought I would bring one bike, and I do presentations on bikes. So basically what I tried to do, I tried to reinvent myself for the winter months. So that's what this represents, the winter months. So I'm going to ride this for you. And the gentleman I bought this off of in Florida, he said he was too old to ride. So unfortunately, I'm his age now. So, all right, here we go. And Kit is my applause meter here. So Kit, if he sees anything worthy of applause, then we'll have to take a picnic of applause. And I got to tell you a Howardtown story, since we have a Howardtown meter here. Once I was in a parade in Howardtown, Halloween parade, and the parade stopped. So I thought, well, if the parade stopped, I'll get my juggling stuff out and start to juggle. So I had these things. And so, okay. So there was a bus in back of my 7-passenger bike, and so I got on and it was a Saucon Valley retirement home.
Oh.
Is that right? Is that the correct name for it, Saucon Valley?
Yeah, there's one. They call it that.
Okay, well, they were on with the bus. So see, the people in the retirement home would ride through the parade on the bus. So I figured, oh, I'll get on the bus, do a little juggling for them. So I did that. So I got on the bus and I started to do this. And I would juggle a little bit. Oh, got a little caught there. And so I would go all over the bus and dust the people off, right? So then the parade starts up. So then I'm getting off the bus to get on my bike and keep on going. And the woman said, do me, do me. I forgot to dust one woman off. So these are all environmentally friendly toys. This I picked up at the toy show in New York. And the guy has a patent on this, by the way. And I met the inventor. And when you go to the toy show, I always look for the people, the single people, not the big corporations. I'm looking for the small little entrepreneur that invented something. And I think this is pretty cool. He was fixing this dryer vent, and he discovered this. Now, I think the parking on here probably won't bounce. So this, if you had like a kid had one of these, I have one, I could throw it to him, he could throw it back to me. So it encourages, communication as we knew it historically. Now communication is more or less, in fact, I left a message. I went to a presentation last night. So I left a phone message saying what a great presentation it was. So then she said, please only text me. I got to tell you a story about my wife. This is cute, I think. Do you know where Wrigglesville's at? Okay, we drive through Wrigglesville for the last 30 or 40 years. And she said, I had a friend there in Wrigglesville. And so I figured, I'll look this friend up and see if she would want to talk to my wife. And she used to stay at her house and so forth. And my wife, she can tell a story better than I can. So it was a lot of work to figure out where this woman was at. So what I was going to, my plan of attack was to look up the court records and see who her parents were, then look up their obituary, because their chances are they're dead, and figure out what this woman's maiden name or married name is, and then track her down. Well, it was, I didn't have to go that route. Regal still has a home page or some kind of page on the internet, so I posted on there if anybody knew this woman, and there was a relative that knew this woman and knew where she lived. And I think it was Utah or somewhere, I forget where it was. And so I called her up, and I left a message. And then I texted her. She said, and I said, my wife would like to talk to you because we were friends in high school, they graduated high school and so forth. And this is an older woman, and she said she only texts now. That's all she does. She doesn't talk on the phone. So hey, once we're gone, there's no more conversations, I don't think, as we knew it. So I'm going to try this once more. So in that case, these are all, for the people that just came in, these are all environmentally friendly toys, no batteries, no electronics. In my background, I've gone to the toy show for, as I said earlier, 20 years, and I'm always looking for the toys that don't require electronics or batteries. And this is one I discovered at the toy show. But I'm going to try to, it's easier if I have concrete. I did a presentation in Ohio on bicycles at Cleveland. So I had this there with my bikes, and I did this, and I threw it way up in the air, and I missed it. There's all these fancy cars there. So the people, the crowd around are looking, gee, is this going to hit one of those cars? Well, sure enough, it's bouncing right towards the car, up and down, up and down. And so, fortunately, the car door was open, and it bounced right into the upholstery. So I was using it, that was an Ohio. Let's see what else we got here. This is called a kendama, and this is used to teach patience for children, Japanese toy. So you try to catch it at different places, and this develops patience. And one theory in education, I know there's some teachers here, I was a teacher, they said if you want to bet on a child, you want to look for the child with the patience. And so if you can teach your child patience, it's going to go a long way for the success of the child. I'm going to try to catch it on the point here. There you go. So that's the Japanese. I was disappointed. We used to eat at a Japanese restaurant, and a little kid there, like 2 years old, is on the computer. This is the history. This is what they use. The kendama to teach your children patience. So if you can teach your children patience, it'll go a long way. So you don't have to spend a lot of money. I bought this at Penn State. These were 35 cents a roll. The center of gravity is right in the center there. This is a good way to find the center of gravity. You put your fingers together. Let me see if I have something. Anyway, that works real good. Just bring fingers together rather than trying to find it. So what you can do, you can use water bottles. I use water bottles. You don't have to spend a lot of money for toys, so you can just flip it. Once the child gets good at that, put a finger between the two, flip the middle one. Usually in the morning I'm juggling, and I try to do 100 times without missing. Our daughter is also a juggler, as I said earlier. And she joggles. That's running and juggling. And so she's done half marathons with that and so forth. And one time when she was doing a Princeton run, of course, in half a marathon, 13 miles, you're going to drop occasionally, right? So the one guy says she dropped, and she picked it up and kept on going. He said, do you have to start over again once you drop? So I thought that was kind of cute. Sometimes I do that. This is an environmentally friendly toy. And I don't know whether I saw this on Mr. Wizard or somewhere. You're supposed to drop it until it lands like this. Also, a toilet paper roll, never need to throw those out, that's a toy. So we'll try it a little bit here. They can learn probability, does it take about 10 times in order to get it? 20 times? They're developing patience. And no batteries, no electronics. I think my theory is the bigger the diameter of the tube, the easier it is to do. And then you can play around with height. So the child's discovery. So look at all, you're learning patience, you're thinking about different things you're discovering, and discovery is the most powerful tool, or a way of learning. If you discover something yourself, you're never going to forget that. If I tell you something, you might not remember it. And I'm a very visual person. I think visual is very important. A lot of people learn that way, and I think males tend to learn more that way than females, visually, to see something. I'm going to try the toilet paper roll.
Have you ever gotten it to land upright?
Have you ever what?
Have you ever gotten it to land upright?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. In fact, the last presentation I did, it did. I was surprised. But it will. And what I think I'll do with this, I'm going to put this aside, maybe I'll go back and try it again. And that's the way you learn. You know, you try something for a while, and if it doesn't work, you go back and revisit it the next day. All right, this is what we got here. This is a Chinese yo-yo. This goes back to 1200 AD. I'm going to try to play up to the history since this is a historical society. And that was before Coopersburg was here, I guess, 1200 AD, right? So, and I've done this in parade. I can do 5 tricks. There's 200, so I only know 2.5%. So, some of the tricks I can do. I used to use this in my math class, and I'll show you about that. So that's just over my leg. And next trick is, good, we'll get this crowd going, we'll keep them awake. All right, the next one's knitting. This is 2 needles, so that's called knitting. If you have 1 needle, it's called crocheting. So this is called knitting. And then you let go. That's knitting. And then, let's just drop the stick. My wife likes this trick. That's called the elevator. Now this is what I did. Oh, this is a great room to do this trick. Sometimes I'm in with a low ceiling, I can't do it. I used to take my students outside and calculate the height of the building based on how long it took to go up and come back, 1/2 AT squared. And we could talk about if we were going on the moon, what would the difference in time be? So we're going to throw this up, try not to hit a light. So, let me see, I don't want to hit any fire alarms. And once in a while I try to kiss the ceiling. I want to make sure I don't hit any alarms or anything. Whoa, look at that. All right. You know what I'm going to do? I think this is funny. This is called a Chinese yo-yo or a Diablo. This is cool. Chinese yo-yo. You get the name? Chinese yo-yo? This is one made in Germany. The Germans are even. So I'll use the small one. But that one's on the table. So this is made in Germany. You know that German engineering, we had a lot of German heritage here, right? All right, I'm going to try to throw it up again. This time I'll try to catch it. So that's a Chinese yo-yo made in Germany. All right. This is something I discovered about 10 years ago. I was a math teacher. I can't believe I didn't know this. This was developed in 1927. And an Amishman, I've done a lot of presentations with the Amish, he made this for me. I imported one from Holland or somewhere, but look what it does. Let me see if I can do it. I probably should use, I'm trying to find some place you can see a table, maybe back here. This is called an ovoid. An ovoid. That's what it'll do. Is that cool or what? That's called an ovoid. And so it's basically two circles intersecting. This goes through the center of that circle, and this goes through the center of that circle. And this was developed in the 20s. You know, most math was developed at the time of the Greeks, the 1600s, calculus. So this is kind of neat. I can't believe I didn't know this. So let me show you a bigger model. So you would say, like as mathematicians, we develop stuff with no application, just for the sake of developing. That's the way we think. If you're an engineer, I've had a lot of classes at Lehigh, where you work, with engineers. Engineers say, if they're in with math people, they'll say, what purpose does this serve? Well, when they invented this, it had no purpose. But the Germans came up with a purpose. They figured out this consumes every point on the surface. When you roll this, it consumes every point on the surface. Unlike this thing. See this thing that I was trying to do? When I roll this, it consumes all the points here, but nothing here. Like you have a can. This consumes every point on the surface. So the Germans said, hey, we can use this to circulate water. Like you have a pond, you have to keep the water circulating for the algae problem. So that's what they come up with that idea. So then, this is an open architecture one. So it rolls, but that's open architecture versus the closed architecture. You like that one? All right. So this, you can see this circle goes through the center of the other circle, and they go through each other's center. So that's pretty simple, right? So, the problem with this one, the center of gravity of this bubbles up and down. So somebody came up with the idea, what if I pull these apart, the square root of 2 times the radius? That's called a two-circle roller. And then the center of gravity will always be parallel to the gravity of the roller. But it rolls like tumbleweed. I think it's cool, but as a mathematician it's cool. But maybe the other people wouldn't do how it rolls. So I have a human one of these that you get inside a roll. And I had it out here at the dedication of the cow, I think. And I had a woman there who's 50 years old, looks like 30. She exercises every day. She works at a CrossFit over here. And she got in and did it, which is pretty cool. This is a big one. And it's so big, I had to use a trailer to haul it around. And I'm the only one that has one of these in the world. You got human two-circle roller where you get inside. I also have a human ovoid. And what was interesting about this, I copied this. There was a guy up in New York that made a human ovoid roller. So I thought I was copying it. I thought he had a human two-circle roller, so I had an Amishman make the human two-circle roller. Well, as it turns out, he made this. So I have two. I have a human ovoid roller and a human two-circle roller. The Amishman who made this, the big one, he made this one, a little one, but the big one that takes a trailer to haul, he can do it. You need a lot of core strength. I can't do it. And he said, you won't be able to do it. But he got in, and the way he got his core strength was working. Now, there's a gentleman in Howertown who owns a gym there. He can do it also, but he owns a gym and he has a lot of core strength. So I call it a litmus test for core strength. If somebody says they have core strength, try out my two-circle roller, my human two-circle roller. So that's a little bit about that area. Now, You know how on those cooking shows, they have, let's see where, I'll put it right here. You know how the cakes are pre-baked and they just pull it out of the oven? Well, that's what's happening here. Right? I'm going to put the final ball on. When you take this off, you have a golf ball cake. And these are the square numbers. Once in Hellertown, I had a golf ball cake with 11,000 golf balls. I did it at the community day or the farm market. So, do you remember the days that you had to memorize the multiplication tables 1 through 12? Do you remember that? Does anybody do that? I don't know if they do it anymore or not. I tried to work with my students, high school students, but what we're going to do here, we're going to look at the square numbers. We got 1 squared equals 1, 2 squared equals 4, 3 squared equals 9, and this golf ball cake goes up to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here's what we got to do. Would you mind letting him play with this, whoever it is? Could you show him this? Because kids like this. Show them the marble drop. All right? Pick up a marble, put it in the top, and just, it's good energy. That's a good babysitter. All right, so we have these numbers, 1 squared, 2 squared, 3 squared, up to 8 squared. We want to add these all up. Right? There's a math formula for this. We would like to add those all up. Here's the formula. Ready? We take the largest number, 8, which is on this cake here, and we take that times the next number, that's called the successor, times the sum of the numbers divided by 6. That's how many golf balls are there. So you want to do the math? So we have 6. Why don't we take 2 and 6 is 3, 2 and 8 is 4, 3 and 9 is 3, 4 times 3 times 17, that's 4 times 3 is 12, 12 times 17, 204 golf balls. That's how we golf balls. So all you do is take the upper limit, 8, times the next number, times the sum of the numbers, always divide by 6. Now let's do the multiplication table. Remember, you memorized the multiplication table up to 12, right? What's 12 times 12? And you know that, you learned that. So now, here we would like to add the numbers 1 squared plus 2 squared. I'm going to do all the diagonals, going down the diagonal. Plus 3 squared up to 12 squared. Here's the answer, ready? 12 times 13, that's the next number, right? Times 25 divided by 6. That's how many the sum of all the square numbers. Okay? So I'm not going to calculate that for you, but you could if you wanted to. So going back to the hold this. How many golf balls are here? I'm going to round balls to 6. Usually I have balls. All right. You want to hold it? No, just sitting there. Resting there. Okay, you ready? So there's 204 golf balls here, right? Each golf ball weighs 1/10 of a pound. This weighs 40 pounds. So that's, if you want to put it in perspective, you all like to hold it? You want to hold it? You want to try to hold it? Okay. It weighs 40 pounds. That's 20 pounds. Golf ball. I think I told you for the young children here, the parents, you want to teach your children persistence and patience. We talked about that earlier, right? Also, resilience. You want to teach your child if they have a bad day, a bad event, to bounce back. This doesn't really illustrate it well because of the card. But these are special bounce balls. So you can go to that bounce stuff. And these are special balls. Now these are I didn't have to do that here. There's a neat trick you can do with this table. I always feel underneath the table. Nice and smooth. I hate these cheap plastic tables. So I'm going to try to do this trick here. I'm just going to mess it up with the carpet here. So what we're looking for with children, persistence and patience, they don't give up. We're looking for resilience, they bounce right back. We're looking for a work ethic, I call it credit, C-R-E-G. E for work ethic. And G, you want to teach them gratitude. Now, in my day, we were taught gratitude. And I think those two were too. Even though we didn't like something, we said we liked it. That's just where we were. Okay, we're going to try it on the table here. I don't know if I'm going to be successful or not. I need time to do something hard. All right, you can tell your story. You get her to tell her story back there. Not that. Go back to here. Oh, where did you go?
Oh, he would be doing this upstairs at 6:30 in the morning.
Usually when I'm at home, I do 4 balls, 2 in each hand. I'm going to try 3 today. And so what are we looking for? Persistence and patience, resilience, a work ethic, and grateful, gratitude. And I have this theory on depression, which I'm not a psychologist, so this is a theory. I feel some people get depressed, maybe never learn gratitude. At my age, I'm grateful I got up this morning. And I always tell young people like Kit, he's a billionaire. Youth and health are billions of dollars. You can ask the richest guy, Elon Musk, and I'm sure he would give billions of dollars if he could have 10 years on your life and get 10 years off his life. That's how much the youth and health is. Then we're over here. This is perpetual motion. I bought a perpetual motion machine. My buddy in Indiana, who's made a lot of bikes for me, he made a perpetual motion machine. And the guy didn't even want to buy it. He didn't want to tear it apart. Hey, Tommy, just sell it to me for the parts. Don't tear it apart. So I have that perpetual motion machine. It doesn't work, but I have it. So this is kind of gets them thinking about perpetual motion. Mine's real big, real heavy. I'm going to throw it all. But that's kind of a perpetual motion. So then we're over here. I discovered this at the toy show. And this gentleman invented this. And I have a couple more being made now, right on this person. And, hey, we got another one here. You always need a backup. Hey, you want another one here? You got your own. All right, here you go. You want to take that one? You got it? The marbles are in there. All right. So this is called the cotton mission tray from college. Yes. Yeah, I got this somewhere. This is like Levi's tray. Like that. You can tell by the shape probably, right? I forget where I got this. All right, this is called top motion. And you get it rolling. And this guy used this for mental health applications. He was a hypnotherapist. And then you can flip it. And if you have a tray, I have a tray, I can throw it to you, you can throw it back to me. So it's encouraging communication, as we do communication, not just texting somebody. But I can get two of them on here. I don't have the second one, but I can get two of them dancing together. Oh, Dancing with the Stars. I can get two of them. So, this I learned off of Mr. Wizard, and I think it's not a neat thing. Very inexpensive toy. A cup and two spoons. And you're supposed to get this spoon in that cup without touching it. You use this other spoon. And it's got a couple of lines. This is cool. This illustrates Lenz's law in physics. You got a ball here, and you have copper, and it'll slow it down. Lenz's law. And have you ever been to Canova's amusement park? Well, they have this thing that drops. I think it's called a stratosphere. You know, it drops down with all these people. I don't know, I've been watching that slow down for years, trying to figure out how they get it to slow down. Because if they just let it drop and stop, you know, it could cause some physical problems for people. I'm wondering if they're using Lenz's law. Now, if I drop a marble through here, all right, they want a third one? I'll use that too. If you drop a marble through here, it'll do what you think. See that? If you drop a marble through, it just goes right through it. If you drop this ball through, see that? Isn't that cool? Lenz's law. That's a famous physics ball. Put that over there. I got that at the toy show in New York. That was very popular. So, now, we got another one here. If you want to show this. Now, why did I buy this? I paid $25 for this. I bought it because it was made by Special Needs Amish Kids. So what it does, I thought it was pretty cool. That's why I wanted it. I thought, hey, this is really neat. For $25, and it's also made by Special Needs. They were also made by the Amish. I'm going to pass this back there so they have another option. You got it? Now, yeah, this is just a noisy toy. So looking at sound waves, you have a spring. County, right? I claim to know more about the Slinky than anybody else in Lehigh County. I'll challenge anybody for knowledge of the Slinky. How did I get interested in the Slinky? Well, I was at the toy show and this guy came around and gave me one. So I got interested in it. And as it turns out, Richard Geist in Altoona, he was in the bicycles, and he was a state rep. And he tried to make the Slinky the state toy. Well, he finished his term, and it never happened. So I thought, this is something that should be done. The Slinky, let me give you a little history, since this is a historical area. Back in 1939, I'm going to give you a way to remember this guy's name who invented the Slinky. Which president, what first name is the most popular first name for presidents? James. Can you name it? James Buchanan from Pennsylvania, right? Jimmy Carter. What was his middle name? Anybody? What? Yeah. James Earl Carter. So Jimmy Carter? What do you know?
Madison.
Who?
Madison.
Oh, James Monroe. James. Yeah, I don't know this James. I don't know. Yeah, you look it up. James. I'm looking for James here. I'm going to give this to you. And there's James Garfield. He was assassinated, right? And so there's 6 of them. That's the most popular. Well, the first who invented Slinky, his last name is James, Richard James. So here's his story. He was from where I'm from, Chester County. He went to a Quaker Friends school, and Quaker Friends, I've done presentations there. I taught in public school, but Quaker Friends is very much about discovery, right? So I can see how this guy was a very discovery-oriented person. His mother died at an early age, and because she was Quaker, he would go to the Quaker school, Westtown Friends School. So he went there, and he ended up at Penn State in 1935. So he majored in mechanical engineering. I have a yearbook here from Penn State. Plus, I have his picture here. You can see Richard James, the clubs he was in, and all this stuff. I got the yearbook. And back in 1939, when he graduated, the tuition at Penn State was 0. No tuition. That's good. So he graduated in 1939. And there was a young lady from Altoona High School. She came there like 2 years late in 1937. Made an appointment with Richard James, her name was Betty, and they ended up getting married. So his first job as a mechanical engineer in 1939, when he graduated from Penn State, he was working as a civil servant for some agency. It wasn't directly from the government. He was a subcontractor. And they were investigating springs. And they were investigating springs to try to stabilize and get good readings off of the ships. So by suspending the instruments with springs. This is a spring with a low spring constant, right? Versus a garage spring. If you ever looked at a garage, or a mousetrap, that's a much heavier spring constant. If you had high school physics, you maybe remember calculating the spring constant. So you can do this with it. Now what I've done, I've interviewed the family members. Betty and Richard had 6 children. 3 boys, 3 girls. 2 of the boys have died. There's 1 boy left and the 3 girls are left. So I did an extensive interview to see what was wrong in the family. So in 1943, that's when it says it was established, the Slinky. He put them in a gift shop. If you have this thing sitting in a gift shop, you don't know what it does. Who would buy it? They weren't buying it. In 1945, Gimbel's department store in Philadelphia gave him 45 minutes to do a presentation on Slinky. And once people see it in action, they want one. It does steps. It does ramps. I also have a Slinky escalator. I have a Slinky treadmill that goes on instantly. The guy in Indiana made that for me. And of course you can do this. My wife often reminds me, I forget to do this trick, and I should. This is all over the internet. So I want you to put your high-speed camera on the bottom here. This is counterintuitive. It doesn't do what you expect it to do. I'm going to let it drop. And if we could, we'd go up to the top of the borough building. It would be a little more interesting. Okay, you ready? You're going to put your high-speed camera down here. Okay, you ready? And we'll let it drop. And it's not going to do what you think it's going to do. Are you ready? What it does, see, most people would think it would do this. It would go down like that. Right? Wouldn't you think that? It doesn't. It doesn't start half down until this comes down to each other. And then it drops as 1 unit. Now let me put it in economics terms. All right, you ready? We're the peons down here, right? The economy collapses. By the time it gets to us, it's too late for us to do anything. That's what happened, I guess, with the stock market in the crash in 1929. Ready? So this came to market in 1945. Betty, his wife, named it the Slinky. He came up with a name. And when he brought this thing home at first, it's like, a lot of spouses, that thing's never going to work. And then when she saw the children playing with it, she said, hey, maybe my husband has something here. So she came up with the word Slinky. And they had this exhibit at Gimbel's department store for 90 minutes. They had, I think, 400 of them made. Well, what happened was, Betty brought one of her friends along to try to be a plant. You know what a plant is? In other words, it cost $1. So her friend was going to go in and buy one of these. And when they got off the elevator, there's people crowded around him just waving dollars. They wanted to buy it. So they had a hit. This guy was 28 years old. And that's one reason why you don't want, as you see the story involved, you don't want to be really rich very young, because that can mess up your life. That's what happened to them. So they're 28 years old, right? He graduated from Penn State. She went 2 years at Penn State. She had a business mind. He had an engineering mind. It was the ideal marriage. Because a lot of times engineers maybe might not be real good at business, but they're good at inventing. She had the financial thing. So 28 years old, they come home and they realize, hey, we got a hit here. This is going to go. We're going to become very rich. Then the question is, they have to raise capital to buy more of them, market them. So it's not just a matter of all of a sudden they're a hit. That's what they did. I think they sold, this was in November, they had this show, or they had this thing at Gimbel's, and then they sold like 20,000 by the time they were that first season, and then it just took off. And he made the machines to make Slinkies. I have been to the factory, watched it, and to show you how smart these people were, they knew a toy would have a life cycle. So they started to make generic screens. I toured that factory. And ironically, the guy who was running the factory graduated high school with me. And the guy who owned the factory, who bought it off of him, was in the same nursing home as my brother. So I interviewed him. So it was kind of neat to talk to these people that are right there in the forefront. So anyway, so time passes by. They buy a nice house in the suburbs, I think Havertown. And I'm friends with the guy who owns that house now. He's from Havertown. He owns this house with his famous steps where him and his son had the Slinky go down the steps. It shows the father, Richard, and his son, Tommy, putting the Slinky down these steps in this house in Havertown. So things go well. And so what happened around 1960, money didn't mean anything to him anymore. In fact, the story is he would go around ripping up money and just throwing it around. Meanwhile, his son Tommy was following him, putting the money back together. So anyway, so it ended up, he kind of went off the deep end there a little bit. At one time, from my research, he was very entrepreneurial, very financial based. He fixed up a car that fell on the train track when he was like 14 or 15 and sold it and made a profit. That was his mentality. And but then he went through a cycle where money didn't mean anything to him. He wanted to go to Bolivia and be some kind of missionary or something. His family of 6 plus his wife did not want to go. And his oldest son was at Penn State, and I talked to him. He said one of the reasons that he probably didn't succeed at Penn State was because of this turmoil in the marriage of his parents. Now he has since passed away. So in fact he drove him to the airport for his father to go to Bolivia. So he went to Bolivia. So here's the widow, not widow, I mean widow from the divorce, I guess. That's not a proper term, I guess. Betty with the 6 kids in Havertown. And they owed a lot of money. They were basically bankrupt. And they sold off the spring factory. You know what happens when you have tough times? You sell off your best assets if you've ever gone through a tough time. People don't want your lousy assets. They want your prime assets if you get up against the wall financially. So he sold off the spring company, and that's when this guy I met bought it. So he goes to Bolivia. So Betty is confronted with supporting this family. So she came up with a Slinky song. There's a Slinky song. She went with national advertising. The Slinky came back. She commuted from Altoona, where the children were, through the week and worked at the factory in Philadelphia or administered that, and then came back to Altoona with the children. She brought the company back. And she didn't miss a payment. She told the people, if you trust me, once I get the money, I'll pay it. And she did. She paid off all her debts. So it was a neat role model for women at that time to have done that. He went off to Bolivia, and he died kind of prematurely. His father died in his 90s. He died like in the 70s. And one theory of people I've interviewed is that maybe somebody killed him. He was so inventive, maybe he invented some kind of mining process, that perhaps somebody did him in because of his inventive mind over there. He had one child over there, a girl. I would love to talk to her, but I have no way of contacting her, or I don't know who she is. And I asked some of the relatives, but they wouldn't give me the information how I could contact her, even though the one relative, the one daughter from his first marriage knew her. And had been over here. But I'd like to talk to her just to get a different perspective. This is the divorced family he left to the family over in Bolivia he had. So what I've been trying to do and here's, I should mention the Slinky dog. How can I go on with that Slinky dog? Under Betty Jane's administration, she brought the Slinky dog to market. Then you have Toy Story. You know Toy Story. The Slinky dog was in Toy Story. Oh, these things took off like crazy. And just to show you how smart she was with a buck, she sold the company at its peak around, I think, 1998, 1997. It was at its peak. And I also have, when she passed away, I have her estate sale here. She had a big house with a swimming pool. She wasn't hurting for money. So she went from bankruptcy, and Richard and her had in common, both their mothers had died at an early age. So I thought that was interesting, they had that in common. And so this was 2009 was her estate sale. And what have I done? Well, I've tried to make the Slinky the state toy. And the best I could do is a proclamation from the Senate, which I'll pass around. So I got that done, but as a state toy, I didn't make that level. That's what Richard wanted done. And the woman that did this is Judy Ward. She's a state senator. I knew her, I was introduced to her when she was a state representative, when she was running. And I said, would you support the Slinky being a state toy if you get elected? And I knew she was a shoo-in. And she said, yeah, why wouldn't I? But she didn't realize how difficult it would be to make it a state toy. Because there's others, like we have Crayola and Easton, that'd be the state toy. I was even willing to negotiate, let's have several state toys, rather than just one. Anything at all to make it happen. And my theory is, if you have something to be proud of in your state or community, let's market it. This is all Pennsylvania, this Slinky. And it's been to the moon, I think. It's done all kinds of crazy things. And it's a really neat toy. If I were teaching math still, I would teach the students how to calculate how much wire is here by circumference and counting the rings and try to figure out, maybe get them to do something like this for phys ed class, your eye-hand coordination. So that's kind of where I'm at. You can use a ramp or you can use the steps. Do you have any questions? that's kind of primarily friendly.
I can remember getting my slinky tangled up.
Right.
Did they make the Bell telephone or
The plastic ones or?
the cord
Oh,
that
okay.
had that same kind
Yeah,
of
where it comes together.
thing and used to tangle the same
Right.
way?
Well, see, one of the nice things about it getting tangled up, they can always sell another. Maybe your idea is so good that it'll cut down sales. But that's the way I would look at it. I went there, and they have a way of testing them on the assembly line. They don't let anybody into the factory. They let me into the factory because of me trying to make it a state toy. So they have the one guy there, he's been there like 30 or 40 years. And they have a way of testing the slinky to see if it'll slink. And you can get rejected coming off the assembly line as a slinky that doesn't slink right. So that was interesting to go through that factory. So it is nothing but a spring with a weak spring constant. So this would motivate students to learn. I don't remember in high school learning what a spring constant was and testing it and how stiff it is. You can measure how stiff it is. Like I have trailers for my bicycles. One time when I was in Florida doing a presentation, I had the trailer door down and the spring snapped. Boy, to try to put that trailer door back up without that spring, forget it. Just like the garage door, I think it's a real stiff spring. This is a real weak one. Any other questions? Any other comments? So the question is, there's a lot of concern with young people, like the children here, that they're our future. Should we have a hybrid situation, some computer, some toys that don't require computers, and some using your mind, and I think a hybrid would be a nice idea. But even the Amish, I've done several presentations for the Amish, even the Amish are having a hard time stopping this momentum. I see the Amish girls using the phone, which they don't like that. And a couple weeks ago, I did a presentation in an Amish school, a one-room schoolhouse. I'm old enough, I went to a one-room schoolhouse, first grade through 8th grade. Boy, I was impressed. And the teacher there are teachers here. Who are the teachers here? I thought I saw, we have, two teachers? At the Amish school, you become a teacher by being a student. You go through eight grades, you watch what they do, and you're so good, you can do it so well that you become a teacher. You don't go to college or anything. And this woman was doing a terrific job for these kids, students. And she had 30 students in a one-room schoolhouse from first grade to 8th grade. So, any other questions? Any other comments? So it's pretty hard to stop it, I think. Listen to some momentum, like, well, I guess when I was at that Japanese restaurant, which I mentioned earlier, to see the Japanese young person, rather than using this to teach them patience and persistence, they were, using their thumbs. And there's some question about the eyes and so forth. And I think we'd be better off if we use more human-powered toys. And human-powered, I'm against electric bicycles also. I want the exercise. And then I'm very apprehensive when I see an electric bicycle because they go so fast that they're going to hit me or something. Same thing with my wife. I'm against electric wheelchairs. She is not. We have a discussion on power chairs, and the problem with that is I think you're good to get the exercise and keep active if you can. Power wheelchairs, I think, tend to make you a little lazy, for lack of a better word. Any other questions, any other comments? I really appreciate you coming out. It was very kind of you to take a Saturday of all days to come out here to listen about human-powered toys. Any final questions, comments? All right. One final history thing I'm going to do. I did this with Dick. Thank you. James Monroe. James Cook. So, who are the six? The six. And remember the last name of this guy who's in Lincoln, his name is James. Richard James. So what do you have?
Madison, Monroe, Garfield, Porter.
Right. And Buchanan's. I'm a little confused.
Carter wasn't James. Jimmy.
Yeah, James. But the current president, is he from Pennsylvania? He was from Scranton. So New when I was in school, we only had one president. Do we consider the current president from Pennsylvania?
It's why you never stop learning.
Yeah,
You
right.
always
Yeah.
keep learning.
Right. So you never know at all. I was going to do the birthday crawl. Now, is there anybody who would like to share their birthday with me? And I have a friend who invented a special walker. My wife has. Her birthday's today. She's 80 years old. She was born in 24. Now, it's not her. It's a walker we have. This person who invented this walker was born in 1944. And I'm friends with her, the walker. My wife is a little short of 80, right? She has a birthday this month. 17th, if you want to send her a card. April 17th. Is there anybody who wants to share? I did it with Kit. Is there anybody else who wants to share their birthday with me, and then we'll figure out the day of the week you're born? It's a math algorithm. Yes?
I'll share mine. July 26, 1974.
1974. All right, now here's a history question. Oh, his is a good one. Who was president when he was born? This is a trick question.
Ford.
Who was it?
Ford?
Ford, I don't think Nixon resigned till August. He's July, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think, check me on that. You're the history person. Oh, who was the, oh, yeah. Does it have the month? I think Nixon resigned in August, I think. Does it say that? No. You know that. And so, therefore, when he was born, the president would have been Richard Nixon. And his middle name is what?
Morehouse.
Milhouse.
No.
And what religion was it?
Quaker.
Quaker. Okay. So let's figure his out. He's July 26, right?
Yes.
Okay.
July
There's
26.
an algorithm for this. And the guy who taught me the algorithm was a famous math professor at Princeton. I remember I was walking on the Upper Saucon Trail on the phone with him teaching me this algorithm. He's very famous for this algorithm. He's a math professor at Princeton, as I said. So let me see if I got this right. I want to make sure I do it right for you. July 26th, right?
Mm-hmm.
So his birthday this year is a Friday. Is that correct? Would you know your birthday this year?
I don't know what day of the week
Okay.
it is.
So if anybody has a calendar, look it up. I think it's a Friday according to the algorithm.
No, you're right. It would be because we're going to Sight and Sound on Thursday. So
All right,
yes.
so last year it was Wednesday. We jumped an extra day with the hour, right? And his birthday is always the same day of the week as the Ides of March. Now let's see if Kit, you know what the Ides of March are? Is there any day the Ides of March?
March 15th.
March 15th, that's when they killed Julius Caesar, right? Beware of the Ides of March. So his birthday is always the same day of the week. March 15th this year was a Friday. I don't know whether you remember it or not. So, therefore, his birthday, once the Ides of March come, that's the same day of the week as his birthday, Friday. Now let's look at 1974. Oh, it ends in a 4. What does that mean? This ends in a 4. What does that mean? He's a multiple of 10, right? It ends in a 4. This year ends in 4, right? So, so how many years is he going to be this year? It's a multiple of 10. What do you think? He's a multiple of 10, like 10, 20, 30. What is it, 30? 30? Oh, he's 1974. This is 2024, so he's what? He'd be a multiple of 10. 50? 50? This is a big 50 for you?
Yes.
So now we have to take the big 50 and add his number of leap years he had. His first leap year was 1976. So I take 476 is 19. 25 minus 19 is 6, plus 1 for the endpoint is 7. Plus he's had 6 since 2000. So he's had 13 leap years in his life. So I take 51 plus 13. Or 50, I'm sorry. 50. I don't want to make you older than what you are. 50 plus 13, what's that?
63.
That's a multiple of 7. 9 times 7. So this year's birthday is the same day of the week as when he was born. He was born on a Friday. Is that correct?
That is correct.
That is correct. Does anybody else want theirs done, or are you tired of it?
You've done mine before.
You want to do it again?
Pardon?
You want to do it again?
Sure.
All right, what year?
1951.
Oh, 51. I know the calendar. There's 14 calendars. I know, so I have her calendar in my head.
Okay, March 24.
March 24th. This year, your birthday, if I did my math right, was a Sunday. Is that correct? So back in 1951, it was a Saturday. You were born on Saturday. Is that correct? And her calendar, ironically, is the same as my calendar. Different years, but the same calendar. And have you ever bought a calendar at the end of the year and then you say, hey, when can I use that calendar again? Well, this year's calendar, 2024, you can't use again for 28 years. Because it's special, it's a leap year. So you won't be able to use that until, what's 28? How's your math? 28, can you add 28 and 24? Yeah.
Ah, good job.
So 22, and you remember, you're going to be 12 this year, right? Is that right? So 12 plus 28, you're going to be 40 years old. You think you can remember this when you're 40? You're going to think, hey, you'll be taking your family by here, and I don't know what they'll have in 28 years. Some kind of Tesla or something maybe. And you'll say, hey, I remember 28 years ago, I was 12 years old in there, and this guy was doing some stupid juggling or something. And it looked like he used a calendar again for 2024. Anyway, hey, you've been a great audience. I'm going to let you go. You put up with this long enough.
Thank you.